Balbhadra Kunwar was born on 30th January 1789 in Panchkal, Kavri Palanchok, Nepal, to father Chandravir Kunwar and mother Ambika Devi. Balbhadra Kunwar was one of the three sons of Chandravir Kunwar who belonged to Hindu Rajput clan. Historical record suggests that the family had arrived in the Tarai region following the fall of Chittorgarh fort in a siege by Mughal Emperor Akbar in the year 1568 CE. Balbhadra's ancestors were earlier lived in Kaski. Ahiram Kunwar, the great-grandfather of Balbhadra, had a quarrel with the king of Kaski related to Ahiram Kunwar's daughter. Ahiram Kunwar was called in Gorkha by then Gorkha's king Narabhupal Saha. Ahiram Kunwar, great-grandfather of Balbhadra, is one of the generals who served during Nepal's state expansion campaign. One of Ahiram's sons, Ramakrishna, who served in the war for a long time, had reached and captured Pallokirat Limbu I in the east, while other son, Jaya Krishna, was killed in the Battle of Thimal. Kunwar family had since set up an alliance with the Saha kings of Nepal from the dynasty of Hindu monarch Prithvinarayan Saha and held several important positions under the dynasty, helping to consolidate the Saha rule over Nepal. Balbhadra's mother, Ambika Devi, was the daughter of Balakaji Amar Singh Thapa. Balbhadra Kunwar was highly praised for his military skills for the defense of the Nalapani fort in the Anglo-Nepalese War fought between 1814 to 1816. He was captain in the Nepalese military and was tasked as a commander to protect the forts of Dehradun. 6 miles from Dehradun of India, in the northeast on the way to Mussoorie, there is a place called Nalapani. It had been the territory of Nepal since long before the Anglo-Nepal War. Balbhadra Kunwar had built a fort on a height of 500 feet at Nalapani, which was known by the name of Kalanga Fort. As a commander of the Gorkhali force in Dehradun, Captain Balbhadra Kunwar was handed the responsibility of defending the area. A night before the declaration of war, the British General Gillespie had sent a letter to Balbhadra asking him to surrender, and Balbhadra would be made the governor of Dehradun. In reply, Balbhadra tore the letter and said, "I shall meet your general in the battlefield." The Battle of Nalapani was the first battle of the Anglo-Nepalese War of 1814 to 1816, fought between the force of British East India Company and Nepal. The battle took place around the Nalapani fort near Dehradun. Lord Hastings, the then Governor General of India, declared war on Nepal on 1st November 1814. But 10 days before the declaration of war, Gillespie entered Dehradun. Balbhadra Kunwar was in charge of the fort of Kalanga. Balbhadra Kunwar had only 600 persons with him, including women and children, who reportedly shielded the bullets and cannonballs with their own bodies, successfully held out against more than 5,000 British troops over for a month. Fighting broke out between the British and Nepalese troops. General Gillespie, the British commander, was killed in the battle. The Nepalese troops hurled stones and logs of wood upon the enemy against their shower of bullets. The siege continued for a month until the British, convinced that they could not win by military ways, blocked the source of water to the fort so that the Nepalese would die of thirst. General Mauby, who succeeded Gillespie, cut off the source of water supply to the fort of Kalanga. As a result, a lot of people died inside the fort due to the shortage of water. For the Nepali army, it was hard struggle fighting a very well equipped and trained modern army belonging to one of the largest colonial empire of the world, the British Empire. The Nepal army decided to leave the fort after additional troops from Kathmandu did not come for help and there was no food or water in the fort. After the water crisis, Balbhadra was forced to leave Nalapani fort with his army on the night of 30th November 1814 AD. When the Nepali survivors about 70 in number, saw that they have no hope of surviving, opened the gate, came out of the fort, and ran towards a stream nearby on 30th November 1814 AD. The British troops were surprised to see this. After they had quenched their thirst, the brave Balbhadra said to the Britishers, "You could have never won the battle, but now I myself voluntarily abandon this fort. There is nothing inside the fort other than dead corpses of children and women. Go and occupy the fort. We have deserted it." When the British troops entered the fort, they found nothing but corpses. In this way, fighting for 39 days, the Nepalese troops went away, but did not surrender before the British troops. Despite considerable odds, both in terms of number and firepower, Balbhadra and his 600 strong garrison successfully held out against more than 5,000 British troops for over a month. Following the Anglo-Nepali War, the British East India Company erected a war memorial at Nalapani in honor of the Gorkhalis and Captain Balbhadra Kunwar, often referred to wrongly as Balbhadra Singh or Balbhadra Thapa, praising their bravery. The inscription on the monuments read, "Memorial in the memory of our heroic enemy Balbhadra and his heroic Gorkhali." It is considered to be one of the few monuments in the world where an army commemorates the amazing heroism of its enemy army. The fighting around Nalapani, more than any other battle, established the reputation of the Gorkhas as a warrior and won the admiration of the British. Even with only 70 remaining survivors, after the water sources had been cut off, Balbhadra had refused to surrender and instead had charged out successfully, fought his way through the seas. In Nepal, the story of the Battle of Nalapani had gained a legendary status and has become an important part of the national's historical narrative, while Balbhadra himself has become a national hero. The fighting spirit displayed by the Nepalese in this and other following battles of Anglo-Nepalese War ultimately led to the recruitment of Gorkhas into the British Army. Balbhadra Kunwar turned down an incentive proposal of the British, who would make him general of the Western Garhwal should he surrender or leave Nepal. He did not lose his life during the Anglo-Nepalese War. Leaving the fort, the Nepalese army reached other places and fought, but the Sugauli Treaty was signed. Then Balbhadra came to Kathmandu and proceeded to his assigned place. After the war, he went to Lahore, capital of the Punjab, where many Nepalese had gone, to join the two new regiments formed by the Sikh Maharaj Ranjit Singh of Punjab, following the war with British. The custom of Nepalese going to Lahore has started from the time when Balbhadra moved to Punjab. Later, Kunwar, Thapa, Pant, Khatri, Bhandari, Khawas and Thakuris started recruiting in Lahore. When the word Lahore was pronounced in the Gorkhali language, it was called Lahore. After that, those who reached Lahore and became soldiers were called Lahori. After that, the British started taking Rai, Limbu, Magar and Gurung as brave soldiers, and they also started going to Lahore. Balbhadra wanted to increase the prestige of his nation by taking back the land taken from Nepal, by expelling the British from India, by fighting even from other places. He has also the pain of defeat in the Battle of Nalapani. That is why it is said that Balbhadra reached Lahore to join the army of Ranjit Singh out of vengeance with the British. Captain Balbhadra's Kunwar salary was earlier rupees 10 per day. Later, 5 rupees were added and it became 15 rupees daily. Captain Balbhadra Kunwar was appointed general and the commander of the new Gorkha regiments, consisting entirely of Gorkhali Nepali troops. During the the Sikh-Afghan War of 1822 AD, the Nepalese in the Sikh military had fought bravely. In this battle, Balbhadra Kunwar was killed by Afghan artillery in Nowshera, Peshawar region, Pakistan on 13th March 1823 at the young age of 34. It is said that he was the last man in his regiment to fall and kept fighting to his end. Historical evidence has been found in the history that Balbhadra Kunwar and his descendants were given land, facilities, etc. with special arrangement by the rulers till generation. The Rana dynasty descended from the Kunwar family. Janga Bahadur declared himself Rana as soon as he became the powerful prime minister. From that time onwards, Kunwar became Rana. Bal Narsingh Kunwar, father of Janga Bahadur Rana, was a cousin brother of Balbhadra Kunwar. Janga Bahadur Rana and Balbhadra Kunwar were descendants of the same ancestor. In terms of relation, Balbhadra is the uncle of Janga Bahadur and Janga Bahadur is the nephew of Balbhadra Kunwar. Balbhadra Kunwar was also the nephew of Kazi Bhimsen Thapa. Balbhadra Kunwar's ancestors too had the history of serving the Saha kings of Nepal. Thank you.